Hey there, so today I want to return to that wonderful world of anime and to do a little bit of cringe farming. Now if you're like, that umbrella guy, what exactly is cringe farming? Well, that's when a person like myself goes in, looks at the choicest crops of cringe, picks out one and brings it to you, because at the end of the day, whether we laugh or shake our heads or point our fingers mockingly, we can all get together and say, at least I didn't do that. No matter what comes up, we can feel better. Now this belongs, like I said, in anime, and it talks a little bit about the division out there. This is a list that was put together by quote-unquote KICKVICers, and well, it's supposed to talk about those quote-unquote IStandWithVicers. Now when you look at this list too, it really espouses exactly what's going on out there, how certain people see themselves as the good guys, and well, they'll do anything, and I mean absolutely anything, to try to prove that, to weaponize anything, and at the end of the day, well, they shoot themselves in the proverbial foot. Now before we get into this, if you like this kind of content, make sure that you're subbed to the channel. Share this stuff out, because everybody needs a laugh. And well, if you want to go out and you want to challenge industry that basically has told you you don't have a place here, support independent endeavors. Ours in comic books is the case of the Littlest Umbrella, and yeah, if you want to find out more about that, stay tuned to the end of the video. So the list here. Now we're going to go from left to right. You know, these things, they track across. Now we're going to ignore spelling. We're just going to flat out ignore that. And we're going to ignore some of the stupidity in here. You know, some of the things like, hey, we support mature cartoons. And yet, when you think about mature cartoons, what does that mean? Could that mean hentai? Well, you know, you get into that yourself. So anyway, liberal ideologies versus the alt-right. You know, the go-to. If you don't agree with me, then. Now, it's real interesting. If somebody plants themselves as the furthest to one side, then yeah, everyone else is going to look like they're representing the right. So, it's interesting when you think about that, considering these people, they are anything but right. Now, when you look at the next one, knows what is problematic, will defend problematic content, I think that actually says quite a bit. And yeah, I will defend problematic content. You know, if somebody's going to go out and tell me, hey, humor needs to be shut down, no thanks, don't need that. Don't need expression to be shut down. We know where the lines are societally. We know where the lines are legally, but, you know, people have the right to free speech. They have the right to go out and create products, and, well, you see how that goes. Watches good shows like Steven Universe. Watches Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero. Goblin Slayer is actually a great show. I mean, when you get down to that, you're talking about redefining a monster. And to redefine a monster, to say it's not casual and throwaway, it has to do something monstrous. That's what Goblin Slayer does, and it makes you fear the goblin. It shows it again as something that needs to be challenged. I think it does a great job there. Shield Hero, it commits some type of sacrilege by going out and saying, hey, false accusations exist. It also, later on, actually brings in the idea of slavery, but that wasn't challenged at the beginning, interestingly enough. It was only the idea that false accusations exist. We're supposed to ignore that, because if you bring that up and you build something good on top of it, oh, well, that's terrible. The next one, knows who is a creep versus evidence. You know, because asking for evidence, that's quote-unquote problematic these days. And they know what problematic is. Very interesting how that comes together, right? You're supposed to take people's word on what's going on, not actually challenge it, not actually go and try to find things out for yourself, and to challenge false evidence. That's a big one too, you know, because a lot of people will go out, they will create false accounts, they will create false narratives to push on their false accounts. They'll do all kinds of craziness in order to slander and defame. Pro-LGBT versus anti-LGBT. Right there. They tell you, yeah, They tell you the line again, just like the other parts here, pro-minority representation versus anti-minority representation. These are the people out here that see folks as race or gender or identity lines. Nobody's asked me exactly what I represent. I can go out and I can talk about my family. I can talk about certain things that make that identifiable, but nobody's asked me to go out and say, fill out a card there. Other people out there that want to be part of the Oppression Olympics, oh yeah, they definitely want to know where you fit into the hierarchy so they know how far down they can stare at you. Amazing stuff, isn't it? Loves MCU versus hates Black Panther or Captain Marvel. Now, interestingly, I have my Captain Marvel #1 from the 70s, and you know what they want to consider Captain Marvel versus what's there. These are people that obviously have been in other arguments out there, but also these are people that represent more than just talking about the ideals of due process. These are social justice warriors that go from trend to trend, trying to burn things down. They showcase it here, and of course they tell you that they weren't comic book fans until. That's what's amazing about this. Now, what's interesting on this next part, you can see that they talk about a certain type of con and a certain P to the E to the D to the O versus people that like that certain thing. Now, you notice they're okay with spelling out one but not the other. That's very interesting. I think that's because that's their new go-to word, the insult that they want to carry. That's what they want to attribute to people. So, of course, they get used to that. Right after that, too, dislikes versus eats at Chick-fil-A. That tells you how much weight these things carry here. I mean, the absurdity to that. Oh, my God. You like those Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches. You like their nuggets. You must be a monster. Then they bring up watches mature cartoons versus watches South Park and Family Guy. Because South Park, with its trends into the political, with its trends into talking about the social, no, that's not mature at all. I wonder what they consider mature. Considering you look at this list here, they talk about, say, Shield Hero that has a mature idea, a theme that says, hey, everything doesn't walk lockstep, but go and will vote for. That says plenty right there. How they want to divide the lines politically. Because, if you don't walk lockstep with us, you must be, like they said, you have a specific ideology at the very top, and you vote for certain people out there. Because everything for them is formulaic. Supports good games, promotes problematic games. Don't even know what that means, really. What is a good game? What's a problematic game? I mean, these days, people are arguing about modes, whether or not something's easy or difficult, so I don't even know where that falls. Maybe you can give me an idea on what they're talking about there. Knows how law works, supports a drunk. Now, that's supposed to be a shot at Rekieta Law. It's very interesting that these people, they think that they know everything because the law offices of Twit and have told them exactly how to think and exactly how to process ideas. I'm sure that they never go out and actually research this stuff because research is difficult. And why would you want to research on your own when someone else can tell you what to think? Knows fiction can harm reality versus it's just a drawing. Now that is absolutely absurd. A drawing can harm reality. So they talk about being able to support mature cartoons, but at the same time, they tell you that fiction can harm reality. I mean, think about that and think about how in opposition those two statements are. But then again, people that put lists together like this, yeah. Respects fictional minors versus supports fictional minors. Okay. And knows certain ships are harmful, and then ships children and adults. Again, strange things to add to this. These people, they seem to have that on the brain there. And these are the same folks that support maps. They support that idea because it goes out and it camouflages and obfuscates who certain folks are and what they represent. So in the real world, off of lists, these are some of the, worst people. I mean, look at certain voice actors out there. Look at, say, their relatives, how they were were actually supported despite the fact that they had been caught with material that promotes some of these ideas, these terrible ones, and how these folks walked with that, versus knowing who is problematic. Very interesting way of looking at that. But remember, you like certain types of chicken sandwiches, you watch the wrong shows, well, you don't know how to lockstep. That pretty much shows you the divide. This, of course, is a real list, too. That's the most absurd thing about it. It looks like a troll, but it's not. It's absolutely not. This is something someone put together because they thought it made a really good point. You tell me what you think about this. I mean, when you look at that, only one side is the good side. I know which side I'd like to stand on with that because I know that one side created an absurdity to try to make themselves look better. And, well, nothing actually makes them look better at all. But anyway, you tell me what you think. Like I said at the beginning, like this kind of content, make sure you're subbed to the channel. Enjoy videos. You find this stuff entertaining or informative, yeah, go out, share it with others because people could use a laugh or they need the information. Want to go further than that? There are links in the description. They definitely help the channel out. One of those is the case of The Littlest Umbrella. All ages love crafty and tale. Plus, it has 2 other stories involved in the main comic. There's a secondary comic with that too. You can look at this. They're basically one comic on one tier, 2 comic books together on another, and there's other things represented here too. Now leave me your comments on this video, pro or con. Let me know exactly what you think about this list. Like I said, looking at this kind of stuff, I'm not surprised by it, but it's getting harder and harder to differentiate troll from the actual thing. When you see something and, well, it looks like it should be a troll and you know that it's not, that kind of stuff, yeah, it says plenty. But leave me your comments on it, pro or con. And ending this, I want to thank you for showing up. More and more people out there, more and more companies, they forget exactly who they should be supporting. They forget to support the people that support them, that empower those endeavors. I don't want to be like that. I think that we should go and build alternative industry. I think we should go in and build up our own stuff. If you think that too, if you think we should support that idea, well, look for independent projects. Look for things that can send signals out there and deny the people that say that you don't belong there, deny them support. Take your money away from them and be vocal about it. But anyway, thank you. I appreciate you showing up, and we'll be doing this again very soon.